Well, hello and welcome back to episode 125 of Man and Machine, here with the PeakBot team and Mark Phillips from Harvested Financial. Gentlemen, how we doing?
Doing pretty good. Not too bad. Coming off a little bit of a wet weekend here in northern New Jersey, but yeah, we're all right.
Less wet than expected.
Yeah,
I was upset. As you can see, I'm dressed for the job I want today. I haven't golfed yet, and there was rain in the forecast all weekend. Ben, we could have squeezed something in, and just running errands. But anyway, Mark, what's going on, man? How are you?
Well, we're getting your wet weather a little bit last night, today, and tomorrow. So it's just moving on east.
Oh yeah, we're supposed to have like 5-6 straight days of brutal weather here. So
everything's working.
That's good. I'm looking on the bright side of things. My grass needs to get wet.
Yeah, we got green lawns now. That's for sure. Spring has sprung, and the showers are here. But another full week of investing ahead of us here. So we got a great show. We got a lot to get into. We got a little bit of a change up here for the typical agenda. I think going to be very exciting stuff to talk about. We're going to be diving deeper into our bots, and our strategies that we're developing here with the PeakBot team and Mark at Harvested here. So before that, of course, we're going to talk about our stock in real life segment. We got a big one today. Very interested to get into your guys' opinion on this stock because I've been scared to trade it, honestly. And we'll do some more. We'll talk about PeakBot picks quickly, and we'll go from there. Did I miss anything, guys, or do we just want to get right into it?
Let's get into it. Maybe I'll just add that the news segment that we're doing is replacing the typical learning segment. I'm excited to get into the bots, and we're just going to do a bit of an overview today, and then we'll get into the details starting next week.
Awesome. So very quickly, I'll just give my PeakBot picks performance last week. I went 2 for 3. I had 2 call credit spreads and a put credit spread. I was bearish on Southwest, which did not do me well. That took my max loss there on the week pretty much. And then I was bullish on GameStop. So I got paid on that and cashed my Next Era Energy call spread as well. So red on the week because of that love position going bullish on me, but a good week overall outside of the PeakBot picks. Ben, how'd you do?
I went 2 for 2. Go back to Friday's episode, check that out. I cover it in depth, but I chickened out last week. I took my small gains off the table on Monday, and I might do the same again this week. We've got FOMC coming into this week. We've got a shorter-term bullish trend. We have a longer-term bearish trend. It makes it hard and uncomfortable for me to pick direction.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Awesome. I think Thomas might have gone 3 for 3. I think he
won. He won.
But another week ahead of us. Ben and I don't like letting Thomas win, so we'll see if we can get some revenge this week. But anyway, let's talk about our stock in real life today. I'm going to add your screen up here, Ben.
Okay.
NVDA. Now, before we even get into it, I might be sounding stupid here. All right, so brace yourselves. But I hear people say this 2 ways. Do you guys? I hear people say NVIDIA, and I hear people say NVIDIA. Like, I've heard people say that. Is the latter stupid?
I've only heard NVIDIA. That's all.
I was at NVIDIA too. I don't know truly what's correct. I don't even know.
So you've heard both.
Of it is.
So you've heard both then?
Correct.
Okay. All right. That makes me feel a little bit better. Yeah, the PeakBot customer support lines, man. I mean, 5 years on that. I've heard NVIDIA said a couple times. But anyway, okay, tagline, the way it's meant to be played. I like that tagline. Let's talk about the stock, the business. I have to say, I'll probably take a back seat in this conversation. I'm going to move myself down. In slot 3. I'm going to let you guys really get into it. I'm going to pull some fun facts on NVIDIA, of course, IPO date, etc. But what's your guys' experience with the stock? What do you think about the business?
So, I mean, I think everybody probably has unknowingly experienced NVIDIA products because they're built into your laptop. Their chips, their processors are usually baked into PCs, and they're typically regarded as like the best top of the line products. If you did a little like information search on your laptop, I bet you your laptop right now is using a NVIDIA processor. I remember back in, I want to say like 2015, 2016, one of my buddies and I, we were thinking of like wholesaling NVIDIA chips before like the brand went crazy.
Yeah.
Looking back at it now, like if we had become wholesalers of NVIDIA, we probably could have made a lot of money. But that was like before the whole AI wave, and I guess before graphics cards really. No, I think graphics cards have always been important to gamers, but before there was a whole craze about it. I mean, that's again, that's my experience with NVIDIA. I mean, we rely on NVIDIA every day on our laptops, our PCs.
Sure do. By the way,
if you're on your iPhone, you're dialing up ChatGPT, you're using a NVIDIA chip.
Yep.
And actually, I did a little research while you were talking there, Ben. The correct way to pronounce it is actually NVIDIA.
Yeah, here it is.
No NVIDIA is incorrect. NVIDIA, and exactly, you got it right there. That it comes from the Latin word envy. NVIDIA means envy. But also the NV originally was meant for next version. Apparently was what Jensen's theory was there. And there's also, potentially some nod to their roots in graphics cards with the vid in there too. So we're dealing with like triple or quadruple entendre here, but pronounced NVIDIA.
So the people on the customer support line were right. I was over here telling them NVIDIA, and they're probably thinking I'm silly. They're like, I don't want PeakBot anymore. Do you know when they were founded? This isn't the IPO date. I have the IPO date as well. Any guesses on when they were founded as a business and when they IPO'd?
The CEO's the founder, so it couldn't be more than 40 years ago, call it. So I'm going to guess like a 95 on the founding and a 99 on the IPO.
I was going to go 96 on the founding and 2001 on the IPO.
All right. So this is on investing.com, which I want to say we can take some stock in, pun intended. 93 founded, 99 launched. Mark, you were pretty Johnny on the spot there. So yeah, these are the original founders here. Here's Jensen. Okay, would you guys have guessed in the ballpark of that many employees, at least as of last year? That's insane.
That is quite a bit. I read somewhere that 1/3 of NVIDIA's employees are millionaires now.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Just looking at some annual revenue here. While we're looking at this, go ahead. If somebody else.
I was going to say, look up the average pay for an NVIDIA employee.
Are we going to try to say it properly now? I don't know if I can.
I'm going to try to say it properly.
Average annual salary. This is just AI. Who knows? 143,000 median.
Yeah, I think they pay well, but they also suck the soul out of you.
Yeah, that for sure. Never trust. Sorry, just never gonna trust Glassdoor. Anyway, all right. Tell me, guys, our thoughts on the stock. Have we traded it? I'll tell you. I said at the beginning of the segment here, I've shied away from trading it because I don't know how to play it. I've never known how to play it. To me, and this is just may sound silly because I haven't even looked at the stock, but it feels like it's always all over the place, right? Quite a volatile stock. And I don't know, expensive as well. So what do you guys think? I'm going to shut up, let you guys go.
I traded it last week, actually, as part of my PeakBot picks. I made a whole $7 on it.
Nice. Were you bullish or bearish?
I was bearish, and if I'm looking at the chart now, longer term here, we're looking like we're forming a bit of a channel downwards. So I was kind of playing into that. I'm guessing this 116 price here was my strike price, and stayed below. But like I said, I chickened out. I took profit early, and again, I'm probably going to do the same this week. But I'm not playing NVIDIA this week. I did look back at my Tradier history trading NVIDIA. I'm up about $300 on it. I traded it a lot in June going into August. We had that reversal mid-July, which I did take a loss on, but was able to recover, roll my positions, and come out with a W there. So, yeah, that's. I would agree with you, Dillon, that it's pretty choppy for the most part, pretty volatile, especially since the stock split in June. Was it June of last year? It was, June 10th last year.
See, I was going to say that it feels like it's been somewhat of a different stock since it actually split, right? Like going into that split, it was up like 2.5x, and it's basically flatlined since then.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're almost at exactly the same level that we were at in the split.
Yeah, Ben, if you click on that, the yellow S at the bottom showing the split, and it'll pull up like a little dotted line. Mark, you're not kidding. It's quite literally $1 or $2 off of where the price was when it split.
Yep.
And we were 20% higher than this and maybe 10 or 12% lower than this, but it's basically just in a channel since that split.
Mark, have you had your fun with this stock or what?
No, I feel like I'm in distinctly in Ben's camp or your camp also, right? Like I'm too scared to play something like this. I mean, like I look at the run up throughout that first half of 2024 and it's like, that's a train that you don't want to get in front of, right? Like when I look for trading opportunities, I'm looking for something that's going to be a little bit more predictable. And, I know there's a way to play this. I know there's a momentum behind this. And like, there are definitely opportunities trading that. That personally doesn't fit my style that much. I'm much more likely to trade this more recent quote unquote chop as it kind of becomes a little bit more of a normal stock these days, to the extent that we have any of those in this market.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I'm glad we're all on the same page. I'm looking at some numbers here, not necessarily macro, but for the last year, the stock's up almost 36%. However, year to date, down almost 16%, which really has all come from, I guess a lot of this volatility and tariff. They're obviously tariff affected, I would assume, or no?
Yeah, I would imagine.
Anyway, so technicals are pretty good on it. I mean, who knows with the technicals lately? Analyst ratings are very strong buy. I was going to ask where you guys think any type of play is here, and maybe if there is a play that I would feel comfortable with, it's probably a long-term one. We're looking here, 69 analysts. I know I don't have my screen up, but 50 of them say strong buy, 10 of them say buy. We're seeing a max projected forecast over the next year of upwards of $235 a share. Again, right now trading around 114 as Ben has that pulled up here. So, I mean, looks like it could be a bright future here, at least for the next year. We know that this company's not going anywhere. Who are their main competitors? Or do they even have any that can?
I think Intel's a big competitor.
Dell?
AMD.
Yeah.
Yeah, Intel, AMD. I don't know who else. I mean, they are like the main player.
They have the market share, I would say, yeah.
They're at least the name brand.
Yep.
Although I've been looking at Vol recently and throughout this, entire year, like you said, stock's down 15, 16% or something like that. And Vol's never really had any crazy spikes. And yet we've been consistently kind of underperforming that. Stock's been moving more than Vol's been pricing. So this is a tough place to get in there, both because a little bit of that jerky stock movement within the channel, but then Vol's not really pricing that particularly well. So, this This is a hot one. This is, a hot potato of a stock to trade.
Yeah, not the most advantageous for us. And like we like to do for trend spread, at least, is find those stocks that are in a more clearly defined trend. And I don't know, even like this does look like, this chart at least looks like we are trending a bit, but still, if we look at the ebb and flow here, like we're going plus or minus 10% with relative ease on this. So that makes it really, really difficult to trade.
And like the at the money vol right now is only like 53. Now 53 double the SPX like reading there. Maybe not quite, but like that's implying a decent amount of move, right? And like it's implying 3% moves a day, and like you say, we're moving swiftly 10% in a couple days. So
yep. Yeah, that type of movement is something that I just don't want to touch.
But on the flip side, it's a good thing to keep an eye on, because at some point this will settle down, right? Vol tends to, over time become increasingly better priced. And so there will be a moment when either realized drops or implieds, go up, that is going to be, a selling opportunity again here too, that, you don't see that negative VRP hang out for very long.
Yeah. I'm wondering where this is going to bottom out, and just based on previous levels of what looks to be support, it looks like it's at $90. If we break below that, that could raise some alarms. But I am bullish on NVIDIA long term, right? I mean, I think that they are the player in the space. I just looked up to confirm the competitors. It is AMD, Intel, Broadcom, Qualcomm. It's a company called ARM, Cerebras Systems. Those are all a number of competitors there. Cool.
No, I'm on mute. I was going to say, I traded those 3 or 4 competitors that you listed. Qualcomm I've traded.
Yeah.
Intel I've traded. AMD I've traded. NVIDIA is just a little all over the place. But, NVIDIA. That's going to take me a while. Any other thoughts on NVIDIA before we move on here?
No.
I love that we solved the pronunciation issue and determined where it comes from. I always knew Jensen was a smart guy, but to have like 4 different puns going on in his company name, I like that. Yeah.
Really quick, while we're talking pronunciation, then we'll get into why the Condor is king with King Condor bot and strategy. I was recently stumped, and when I say recently, I mean like probably the last 2 or 3 years, on another popular pronunciation thing. I want to run it by you guys. Mark, are you familiar with the Chipotle competitor, we'll call it, starts with a Q? Are you familiar with it?
I believe so.
Okay. How would you pronounce it?
I think I would say Qdoba.
Okay. Ben?
I pronounce it Qdoba.
Qdoba. We're just going short. Mark, you're actually right. I'm upset that you had it right. Truthfully, I was hoping that you were on the side of everyone who says Qdoba instead of Qdoba. You know how much effort I got to put into
I don't use it enough, so I probably don't make the elision there that I'm like looking at it, like phonetically sounding it out. Like, how do I pronounce this place?
I got in a fight over this in a ticket office in a past life. I swore that it was not pronounced that way, to the point where the guy I was fighting with this about tweeted at them, and they replied. And they said, yeah, it's a hard Q.
Wow.
Qdoba.
Qdoba?
Yeah. Try to get that one through your head. Not going to happen. But anyway. All right. Moving on.
Are they publicly
traded? Is it?
I don't know. Maybe their parent company is. Let me see.
I know Chipotle is
Qdoba public?
Maybe that's the stock next week.
Qdoba is not a publicly traded company. It's owned by Butterfly Equity, a private equity firm.
From Jack in the Box there. Okay. All right. Very cool.
So it was previously a subsidiary of Jack in the Box, and Jack in the Box is a publicly traded company.
I'm not going to say I'm above Qdoba by any means. I love their taco salad when they give you that shell. when you get that shell, not many people can do that right. Qdoba's got it down, and Fuddruckers. Anyway,
apparently Google's telling me that the British pronunciation is Qdoba, though. So if you're on the other side of the pond, you might be technically correct.
I don't want to start doing that because the way they pronounce some things, I can never get my head around. So I'm going to stay here. I'll adapt. Qdoba it is. Just glad that I don't say Chipotle. What do some old people say? Chipotle. My mom and dad used to say Chipotle, and I wanted to scream.
Yeah, my dad would say that too. He'd be like, "You want to get lunch at Chipotle?"
You can't even say it. You can't even say it wrong.
I don't even know how they say it wrong.
Chipotle. They put the L before the T.
Wrong too? Like, or is this just a restaurant problem?
It might be a restaurant problem. I'll tell you, I might only start going places I know I can pronounce. If anybody comes at me with Miller's Ale House on a different pronunciation, I'm going to be upset. All right, let's get into King Condor.
All right, cool. So again, this is a not substitute, but this is the replacement for learning a little something, going over different topics. We did that for a number of months, actually.
Yeah,
so really, really great content. If you go back and review our past shows, we've got some really good content that we posted about all different types of topics as they relate to options trading. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get into digging into our bots further, specifically the bots that we are using and that Mark is leveraging with Harvested Financial. So what exactly does that mean? Well, PeakBot and Harvested Financial have partnered to provide to you financial advisory services that leverage the use of PeakBot's bots, and we're able to, as a result, service accounts that are as low as $10,000. So if you like the idea of bots, but you don't like the idea of you picking out the bot or you picking out the stock to automate on the bot, Mark and his team can do that for you. Just head over to peakbot.com/harvested. You can fill out a form there. You'll get a phone call from Mark, and you'll be on your way to having your portfolio fully controlled and automated via Harvested Financial and PeakBot's bots. It is the absolute best of both worlds. We have a bunch of people signed up already, and the I'll call it the top bot here. You guys might have different opinions, but the top bot here is the King Condor. And if you're wondering, and we've been posting a lot about King Condor, if you're wondering what the details are behind King Condor, you can go to peakbot.com, and then up at the menu at the top, click on bots. If you click on bots, it's going to bring you to our bots page, of course, and you can see the number one ticker here, or the number one bot here is the King Condor. So guys, why don't we take a minute to talk about that in just a second, because I got to mention this banner at the bottom of our website. You can get 6 free months of PeakBot Pro and commission-free options trading if you click that link, you create a new Tradier account and fund it with $5,000. If you click create an account here, it'll give you all of the details. If you already have a Tradier account, you will get 1 month of PeakBot Pro for free. And then ongoing, you will get PeakBot Pro for the price of PeakBot Standard. That's a $40 a month savings just for being integrated with your Tradier account. So make sure you let us know if you're currently on Tradier, and we'll make sure that you get that discounted rate. And then if you are new, all you have to do is click create an account here. You'll get all of the details on the page after that, after you create your PeakBot account, and you will get started trading PeakBot for free for 6 months and commission-free option trading via Tradier Pro. All right, back to the King Condor.
Smooth plug, man.
The King Condor, thank you. As you can see here, and I'll preface this with Dillon and I really, and Mark too, we really don't like showing bots that have seemingly unrealistic returns. And again, this is back-tested data that we're showing here. Backtest data is never indicative of future results. Past results are never indicative of future results. However, based on the fundamentals of the strategy, we're all in agreement that we like it. And from running this live for the past couple of months now, we are seeing really good returns. Last week, or was it 2 weeks ago, we had 3 wins in a week, which if you were trading one Condor would have net you over $1,000 in gains. Last week, I think we had a win and a loss, or maybe 2 wins. I think we had 2
2.
We had 2 wins and a loss. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So
that's all you need.
That's all you need. And we'll get into the exact numbers here. But as we can see, here's what the chart looks like compared to the S&P. And we're comparing this from May 16th, 2022. Why May 16th, 2022? Well, that's the day that daily expirations became available for SPX. So that's the furthest we can back test to. And we can see how much the S&P has returned since then and how much this bot has returned since then. Now, in our back tests, we use $10,000. When using $10,000, we ended up with $35,174 at the end. That's a total return of 251%. And the win rate for this bot is 56.2%, which is a bit lower than what our other bots kind of set themselves up at. And we'll get into why in just a minute. I'll mention that although we used $10,000 in the back test, and that's the preset budget amount actually that you would be set up on PeakBot, it's only trading $10 wide spreads. So realistically, you only need $1,000 to trade this. However, we'll go over the numbers and we'll see why $10,000 makes a lot of sense. So, Dillon, you mentioned that 2 wins, 1 loss. That's all you need, right? And if we look at the average win size versus the average loss size, again, this is different than our other bots as well. The average win is greater than the average loss by quite a bit, by about 50%. The largest win does not compare to the largest loss. The largest loss will happen, and it'll happen, I'll say rarely, but it does happen. It happens when there's a large overnight movement that blows out one of the sides of the Condor. So, for example, if the market gap's way up overnight, then the call side of your Iron Condor is going to be in the money, and you might see that big loss overnight. Again, it's a $10 wide spread, so the max loss on that is $1,000, and then you've got to subtract out the credit you earned, and on average, you're earning about $305 of credit. So if you do some quick math here, 694 plus 305 is 999. That's almost that $1,000 that we're talking about here. Now, the reason why a 10K per Condor is great is because you have a really, really small drawdown in that case compared to your entire account. You got, through this backtest period, we saw a maximum drawdown of 6.7%. And again, that's because you've got a little bit of extra cash set aside for this, so that way when you do lose, that's not impacting your total allocated capital so much. And then this bot trades on average about 10 times per month. So it trades about half of the time that the market's open. And there's parameters that we'll get into when we get into the details of the bot. But based on these high-level statistics, guys, I want to know your thoughts, your experiences with the Iron Condor over the past month or so.
So I'd say my favorite thing about this bot, and I think this speaks generally to the collaboration that we have going on here, is that there's a lot more going into this than just automatically trading Condors. That, as we've learned and as we've worked together, we've talked a lot about what are the right signals that we want to use when we want to put on this trade. That if we believe that markets are generally efficient, that means that it's not always a sell opportunity, that only about, call it half the time, maybe slightly more, is a true, given the vol risk premium, is a true good selling opportunity. So what I personally really love about this is the list of checked boxes that we need to satisfy before we enter a trade. And that's the way I like to think about, trading and portfolio management and options for portfolio management, is what is the right scenario? What is the right market environment? What is, the overall market telling me? And what is, specifically the security telling me about the pricing right now? So VIX level, early moves during the day, all of those kind of filters really narrow down the range of opportunity and give us a much better hit rate and deliver that 2 wins to every 1 loss. So adding those indicators in here, I think is really what makes this a pretty, portfolio changing bot.
100%. Couldn't agree more. Obviously you guys are the ones who were behind building it a bit more than I was. And let me tell you, for me, it is a bot that I'm keeping on in all accounts. Always. It is a percentage of my portfolio. I'm allocating that $10 spread whenever it wants to trade. And I love saying that, whenever it wants to trade, right? Because I know that it's going to sit out. I don't have to make that decision. If volatility is too high, if there's too much movement, I don't have to think about it. And we're going to talk about those details. But yeah, right now I've made, honestly, it's got to be $1,300 on it in the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I mean, again, we're getting 2 wins to every loss right now, and that has been very profitable. And I'm only running one.
I was just gonna say that's only on a one lot, right? Those numbers
only
sound
on
like
one. Yeah. So yeah, that changes things. It's really forgiving a lot of the sins that I've been making on individual underlying trades. So yeah, I just literally while you guys were talking about this briefly, went and made sure that my third account has it up and running, and it'll be the only bottom running account. It's a small one. So let's get into the details, Ben.
Yeah, we could cover the details at a high level here. We've got the monthly P&L all listed out, and again, this is back tested data from this P&L. We can see it's been a choppy couple of months. Had a really great February, but look at 2024. There was a solid stretch of, what is that, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 months in a row, and all winners. So in 2024, if you had allocated $10,000 to this, you would have made about $8,258. 2023 was even better. Look at all that green, and then January started off red, but barely red. Only lost $54 there, and then going back into 2022 up till May. Again, really, really solid bot. We would expect a little more choppiness now, just due to the change in, call it market climate at the moment, with tariffs and new political administration, so on and so forth. So that's where you can find how the bot has performed. And then the order details. We've got, like we said, we're selling the Iron Condor. We're selling near the 20 delta, $10 wide spread. The ideal market for this is a neutral market, low volatility. The entry features. So as we were saying, this bot will not trade if VIX is too high, if VIX is too low, if VIX increased too much overnight. And additionally, it will not trade in the case of major economic events, i.e. FOMC, which is coming up this week. So this bot will not be trading tomorrow or Wednesday due to FOMC. And then on the exit side, the bot does have a trailing stop loss. It monitors both sides separately. So that's a really cool feature that helps minimize the losses. That's why our wins are actually higher than our losses for this bot. Here are the cash and broker requirements. It is a pattern day trader friendly bot because it is 1 DTE. And if you're curious to see all of the trades from the backtest data, you could click this button and download everything. So that's a high level overview. Next week, we are going to dig further into these numbers. And for the next couple of weeks, we'll really dissect the King Condor strategy. So if anybody does have questions, feel free to send those in and we will make sure we get those questions answered. But I think for right now, we can leave it there unless you guys have any other comments.
Mark?
No. Hit us up if you want to learn more about it.
It's that simple, people. And we that's really all it comes down to. I'm going to get the banner back up again. If you're interested in a professionally managed portfolio by Mark, okay, licensed financial advisor, is utilizing these automated option selling strategies for your portfolio. Again, accounts as low as $10,000. You're not going to find that anywhere else. I'm not asking, I'm telling. If you've got 10K, you want to get into the game of short-term option selling, as well as we're continuing to grow, and we'll cover this on future episodes. We have some fantastic long-term strategies, some hedging strategies to go along with all of this all at once. Okay, so peakbot.com/harvested if you want to get in and let the pros handle it. I almost think, do you guys remember Pros versus Joes? You must.
I do. I
What
remember
a
that.
show. What a time to be alive, I think. I think Gen Z has no idea how unbelievable Pros versus Joes was. And sometimes a flop, but people were getting hurt, which was fun. But anyway, we should have a Pros versus Joes segment. Mark, you're the pro. I'm the Joe. We go up against some type of competition, which we don't need to stack the cards for you. You'll beat me if we're talking options. So, but maybe we'll have a little fun with that. My only other thought. Good, sorry.
I was going to say that could be a lot of fun.
That could be a lot of fun.
We should have a trading competition.
I don't want to expose myself for the sake of PeakBot. But yeah, I think maybe we can set up something. We get Thomas involved, as well. Just because he's fun, he's just like our punching bag, which is great. But anyway, yeah, we could think about something. I'll ask ChatGPT to put together a Pros versus Joes options trading contest for us. I was gonna pull, and I'm gonna organize my data for the King Condor. I'll have it cleaned up, and I'm gonna get it posted on socials and in our Discord, etc. So if you're interested, reach out, and I'll get you the details. Fellas, let's talk about, unless there's anything else on King Condor, let's talk about economic calendar this week quickly, because I know we got a lot going on. Yeah,
we sure do.
Okay.
Pull up my screen here. Actually, Dillon, can you pull that up? Thank you.
Yeah, it's up.
All right, so today, not too much going on today. We've got some data this morning. This afternoon, we got some auctions going on. Nothing major, in my opinion. Why isn't this scrolling down further? One moment, please.
Please hold.
All right.
I should call the tune.
I don't know why that wasn't. I'm just going to do this. All right. So on Tuesday, I know the text is small, but that's okay. On Tuesday, again, nothing huge here going on. We've got a 10-year note auction, which if you are trading Max's 0DTE Orb bot, that will turn the Orb bot off. So Orb will be trading today, but it will not be trading tomorrow, Wednesday, or Thursday. And why not Wednesday or Thursday? Well, on Wednesday, we have tomorrow we start FOMC, and then on Wednesday is the big FOMC day where Powell goes up and talks to everybody. Fed decides on interest rates, so on and so forth. And then on Thursday, we have a 30-year bond auction, which again is grounds for the 0DT Orb bot to be off. And then Friday, we just have a bunch of Fed speeches going on. So that is that. Okay,
very cool. Mark, anything of note here for this week to keep an eye on outside of what was just discussed, or any other macro thoughts? Oh, see you, Ben. Any other macro thoughts on, I don't know what's going on. He's gone. That's fine. Macro thoughts on the market going into this week, how you feeling about managing your portfolios, etc.
Yeah, I think we continue to be in this environment where not only is there going to be news in either direction, any given news point is going to be able to be interpreted for the bulls or the bears. So I think that makes it a continued difficult environment for parsing news, because the market's going to zig and zag based on, less obvious cues, and good news can be bad news and bad news can be good news. So I think I'm still continuing to keep it relatively small. But like we were saying with the King Condor, right? Like, there are opportunities in this market. VIX is trading where it's at, premium's healthy, and that's not a time to totally shy away so much as it's time to be a lot more choosy about where you're getting in on your trades.
Man and machine, keep an eye on things, use the automation where you can, or let Mark do all of that. Mark can be the man and the machine. Mark is the man and the machine.
I'm the man, you're the machine, I think.
Okay, deal. So Ben has vanished, and that's fine. We will wrap up without him. One last question, and if I'm putting you on the spot here, I apologize, but it won't be too brutal. King Condor activated or getting reactivated in client portfolios for Harvested and PeakBot?
We activated that last week of April. So our clients are all running on that. Starting out small, of course. Just given what's going on in the market. But we are actively trading the king.
Awesome. Very excited to hear that. So
with the king, I don't know how to properly describe the bot.
We're going to come up with something. We're going to come up with something good. Okay, now I have to do this. Have you seen, we'll wrap, I promise. Have you seen the new Chili's commercials? And they're, okay. So they are blatantly, you know how advertising is so stale and everything's been done 1,000 times. The only way you can get somebody's attention is if you tell them that you're advertising and marketing to you directly to your face. They're coming out, by the way, quick side note, Chili's is still opening restaurants, Mark. I don't know if you knew this, but
I did not.
That's insane to me. Look, I'm pretty lowbrow. I got a low bar for food quality. I still can't stand Chili's and don't understand how they're opening new ones. They have a new thing. They're trying to get NASCAR fans. Okay, they're coming out. They came out with a whole song and a jingle, and they have this new Presidente Margarita or something, and their hook is "Ride the Dente." And this, I'm telling you to look it up, but also don't, because it's going to be in your head all week. Okay, I'm not going to sing it or anything, but if you were curious, Ride the Dente, Dente, unbelievable jingle. Great job to the marketing team at Chili's. I hate your food. Maybe put more money into the kitchen, but you got my attention, and I might be coming in just for the margarita.
I mean, they've always crushed it with their jingles, right? Like, I dare even repeat the one because that'll be in your head instead. But the baby back ribs, right? I mean, come on, that was marketing gold.
You forget, people, the young people forget that was even Chili's who was responsible for that. I almost forgot. They have been pretty good with the jingles. All right, let's wrap here. We're getting close to market open. Best of luck to everybody. And if you have any interest in getting automated with King Condor, whether it's yourself or with Mark, come and contact us. You can go to our website, peakbot.com, or visit peakbot.com/harvested for more information on how to work with us. So, Mark, unless you got anything else here, I think we're going to wrap up and get out of here. We will be live again on Friday for the automation station with myself, Ben, and Thomas to take a closer look at our automated trading portfolios with PeakBot strategies and much more. But we'll be back here again next Monday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern, to take a deeper dive into King Condor. Hopefully a few more wins have been captured by that time, and we'll take a closer look. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, we'll see you at the peak. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.